Indian justice system is the fastest justice system in the world. Indian lawyers are so competent and efficient that they can resolve your property matter, family matter, commercial matter in 21 days with a money back guarantee. India is the only country with no backlog of cases. In fact, because the satisfaction level is so high of Indian litigants that our rank in ease of doing business is number one. In fact, 85% of the disputes come to Sama, which is my startup, a unicorn startup funded by Sequoia. You know, when I look at these statistics, I feel extremely, extremely proud. But then the problem is, my mother screams from the next room. And she's like, Amit, that's my nickname, wake up, it's 10:30 in the morning. And, and I wake up to the reality, which is extremely and polar opposite. Good afternoon to all of you. Really honored and privileged to be here. In fact, my family really wanted me to be an engineer. I took PCM with computer science, joined with them on their coaching classes, but my mock results were so bad that I had to look for an alternative career. Got some inspiration from Suits, Boston Legal, ended up becoming a lawyer, and I'm right here. But by virtue of becoming a lawyer, I got exposed to the realities of the Indian justice system. And the reality of the Indian justice system is a cacophony. It's a cacophony of conflicts, of dilemmas, of disagreements, of ego battles in litigation suits. There is a state of unrest in the Indian justice system. If there is one person who conveys this cacophony of the Indian justice system really well, it's Mr. Sunny Devil from the movie Damini shouting Tariq pe Tariq. A movie which came in 1990s but still very relevant in 2019 because we have a backlog of 2.8 crore cases. It will take us more than 464 years to clear this backlog. Each case goes for an average of 3 to 4 years, 36 to 48 months. Each hearing costing 510 rupees. We spend 40,000 crore on litigation, which is 0.4% of the Indian GDP. Our rank in ease of doing business is not one, it's 163. It's below Bangladesh when it comes to resolving disputes. Resolving disputes in India is a pain point. It's time consuming, it's expensive, it's stressful, it's harrowing. People die, their cases are still alive. And this is something which used to bother me a lot when I started law school. And coincidentally, a Supreme Court judge came to our college to deliver a lecture on access to justice. And when he finished his lecture, I stood up in front of my batchmates, feeling extremely courageous. And I asked him that such a huge backlog of cases exist. Why do the judges in India have summer vacations? Why do you have Durga Puja break, winter vacation? And I thought it was a very pointed and a very smart question. But he looked at me and he smiled. He smiled at me and at my ignorance of the real picture. He told me what a life of an ordinary judge in India is like. Their salaries, how tremendously understaffed they are, the infrastructure. We need one judge for every 10 lakh of our population. We have one judge for every 50 lakh. This is former Chief Justice of India, T.S. Thakur. He teared up in front of Mr. Modi saying that judges are not superhumans. We can only take a certain amount of weight. If you put an elephant on us, we will get crushed. And when he said all this, I got a little taken aback. And I didn't know how to respond. And I asked him out of hesitation, how can we help? How can we help the courts? And his answer was very simple. Why do you even need to come to the courts? Why can't you resolve it on your own? And that question led to a series of more questions. Do all disputes need to go to court? Does every conflict need to have a winner or a loser? Can't we build a system where people resolve disputes in a collaborative manner and the outcome is win-win for both parties? Is it not possible? And by the way, such a system already exists. It goes by the name mediation. In a mediation, two parties come together to reach a settlement with the help of a third party, the neutral, who's the mediator. And this is not something new. Mediation has been a part of the Indian culture. In fact, one of the very first mediations in the world was Lord Krishna trying to mediate between the Kauravas and the Pandavas. When mediation failed, it led to Mahabharata, but it was an attempt to mediation. We as Indians, we were very collaborative by nature. We believed in the power of talking. When we used to have conflicts at our house, we used to go to the elders of the family to mediate and settle it. When we used to have property disputes, financial disputes, we used to go to the panchayats, community mediation. We believed in collaborative dispute resolution. But after the British legal system, the Anglo-Saxon system of courts came up, we became more adversarial. And we forgot our roots. And it's time to go back. Mediation is based on three very effective principles. The first principle being of confidentiality. What it means is, what happens in a mediation stays in a mediation. Unlike a court, which is a public process and you're at display, mediation is a confidential process. Your sensitive information, your respect, it's protected. Mediation also allows for autonomy, which means it is guided by the parties and not their lawyers. What the parties want is important, not what their lawyers. It is a party-driven process. And third, which is an extremely important advantage of mediation, is that it's a creative process. When we read laws in our education, one law with 10 guidelines, but there are 1,000 permutations and combinations of different kind of conflicts. How will you fit those 1,000 situations into one standard law? Mediation allows for creative solutions. And one of the most creative solutions we have seen at work is just an apology also. An average mediation in India, and note this, an average mediation in India takes 126 minutes. That's 2.5 hours, as compared to 3 to 4 years in courts. Mediation saves time, saves money, and most importantly, it saves relationships. You look at all the big disputes in India. Reliance, Dhirubhai Ambani, Mukesh Ambani, when they split, they did mediation. Tata Mistry, Infosys. 95% of the top 1,000 Fortune companies only mediate. They don't go to. They know it. They know it. But then why? Then why is the general public of India not using it? Awareness. According to a survey done by Daksh, 10 lakh litigants, they found out that 54% of the people in India do not even know that mediation exists. They think it's meditation. My mother actually thought that I'm joining like a religious cult or I'm entering spirituality when I started this mediation startup. This is the lack of awareness with respect to the mediation process. A lot of people think that mediation is a compromise. It's not. You can come up with creative solutions. You can settle not for less, but for more. And that's why these big corporates do it. The other misconception with respect to mediation is that it is not a legal process. It's fully and absolutely legal, whether it's Section 89 of the Civil Procedure Code or Commercial Codes Act. If you settle in a mediation, it is like you can enforce it like a judgment in court. That is the power of that settlement agreement. By the way, Rachi has more than 105 mediators. If you guys have conflicts, you can call them and they can come and help you resolve it here. Don't need to go to lawyers. When we tackle the challenge of awareness, we realize that it is an extremely critical aspect which needs to be addressed. And we started a campaign called Suljhao Magar Pyar Se. And the campaign was based on sensitizing the general public, and we engaged with more than 5 lakh people directly. And we saw cases worth from consumer disputes to family disputes to even 400 crore worth mining disputes. A mining company, and this is a very interesting instance of mediation, they wanted to acquire a piece of land. 500 villager families were there. The general tendency is to use gundas and goons and get the land acquired. We engaged with that company, with the CSR head of that company. 3 mediators, and we stayed in that village for 9 months. The company had a budget of 400 crores to acquire the land because that land has so much potentially rich minerals. 9 months we engaged with each and every family, and we were able to negotiate a settlement within 200 crores. So the family peacefully rehabilitated and resettled in a village which was 5 kilometers away from the old village, and everyone was happy. That was the power of dialogue building processes. But more than that, mediation taught me a lot in life. When my mother is sharing her household troubles with respect to in-laws or work-related, I have become a better listener. I listen actively. And God, that's a skill. Practice it. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Active listening can help people a lot. It helps in destabilizing their emotions. Mediation taught me that. When someone is upset and they are sharing their troubles with you, I've stopped giving advice. I've started acknowledging. Acknowledging with patience rather than jumping to advice. They don't want our advice. They just want acknowledgement and empathy. Mediation taught me that. When my oldest best friend from school did something which was really hurtful, I tried to see the situation from her side. Because there are always 2 sides to a story. Always. Mediation taught me that. Mediation is an extremely beautiful and powerful process. In today's adversarial world, if we desire peace and if we desire coexistence and harmony, we need mediation. A litigation battle, a win in a court can give me an ego boost and joy, but it is temporary in nature. The ultimate satisfaction lies in peaceful harmony. And if we desire that harmony, we need mediation. If we desire to achieve the state of ideal justice system, if we want to destabilize this cacophony, if we want to achieve the statistics which I showed in the beginning, we need to move away from Tariq to Suljhao Magar Pyar Se. Thank you.